Hi, I'm Cheryl Sitz. Back with you once again. We're today going to conclude our live readings of Dianne Robbins' fabulous channeled work, Messages from the Hollow Earth, Messages from Mikos, and the Subterranean Cities. We've been doing this week by week, and I stopped before I did the Addenda because I wanted to speak with Dianne again and make sure that I was pronouncing some of these names correctly. Unfortunately, as I mentioned at the tail end of my last broadcast, Diane had been hospitalized with pneumonia, and she is still in the hospital. So please continue to send healing energy to this beautiful soul who has brought all of these messages through for our benefit, for our ascension. She's a wonderful woman. She really is all that you would hope she would be. And if I just wish her the best, whatever the outcome of this, whether she's ready to go beneath the earth finally or some other outcome, whatever is best for her, I am just flooding her in love and light and sending healing energies for her highest good. So I would appreciate if you'd join me and do the same. So today I'm off schedule, so I don't really figure anybody will hop on, but if you do, that's great. I just want to wrap up this book because I promised I would do this. So we are on chapter 24, which is the Addenda. Telos is a subterranean city located inside the enormous cavern of Mount Shasta in California. Its citizens are survivors of the sinking of the Lemurian continent that occurred about 12,000 years ago. Their isolation from the surface population has enabled them to create a civilization of peace and abundance, with no sickness, aging, or death. The word telos means communication with spirit. Telos is one of over 120 cities of light that are only a few miles beneath the Earth's surface. As a grouping, these cities are called the Agartha network. About the city of Telos. Greetings from Telos. I am Adama, ascended master and high priest of Telos, a subterranean city beneath Mount Shasta in California. I'm dictating this message to you from my home beneath the earth, where over 1.5 million of us live in perpetual peace and prosperity. We are human and physical just like you, except for the fact that our mass consciousness holds thoughts of only immortality and perfect health. Therefore, we can live hundreds and even thousands of years in the same body. We came here from Lemuria over 12,000 years ago, before a thermonuclear war took place that destroyed the Earth's surface. We faced such hardships and calamities above ground that we decided to continue our evolution underground. We appealed to the spiritual hierarchy of the planet for permission to renovate the already existing cavern inside Mount Shasta and prepare it for a time when we would need to evacuate our homes above ground. When the war was to begin, we were warned by the spiritual hierarchy to begin our evacuation to this underground cavern by going through the vast tunnel system that spread throughout the planet. We'd hoped to save all our Lemurian people, but there was only time to save 25,000 souls. The remainder of our race perished in the blast. For the past 12,000 years, we've been able to rapidly evolve in consciousness due to our isolation from the marauding bands of extraterrestrials and other hostile races that prey on the surface population. The surface population has been experiencing great leaps of consciousness in preparation for humanity to move back through the photon belt. It is for this reason that we have begun to surface contact dwellers to make our existence known. For in order for the earth and humanity to continue to ascend in consciousness, the whole planet must be united and merged into one light from below and one light from above. It is for this reason that we are contacting you, to make you aware of our underground existence so you can bring the fact of our existence to the attention of our fellow brothers and sisters above ground. Our book of channeled messages from Telos is written to humanity in hopes that they will recognize and receive us when we emerge from our homes beneath the ground and merge with them on the surface in the not too distant future. We will be grateful to you for your part that you play in helping us broadcast the reality of our existence. Secrets of the Subterranean Cities by Juliet Sweet. The Agartha Network. Think of Shambhala the Lesser as the United Nations of over 100 subterranean cities that form the Agartha Network. It is indeed the seat of government for the inner world. While Shambhala the Lesser is an inner continent, its satellite colonies are smaller enclosed ecosystems located just beneath the Earth's crust or discreetly within mountains. All cities in the Agartha network are physical and are of the light, meaning that they are benevolent, spiritually based societies who follow the Christic teachings of the Order of Melchizedek. Quite simply, they continue in the tradition of the great mystery schools on the surface, honoring such beings as Jesus, Sananda, Buddha, Isis, and Osiris, all of the ascended masters that we of the surface know and love, in addition to spiritual teachers of their own long-standing heritage. Why did they choose to live underground? Consider the magnitude of the geological earth changes that have swept the surface over the past 100,000 years. Consider the lengthy Atlantean Lemurian War and the power of thermonuclear weaponry that eventually sank and destroyed these two highly advanced civilizations. The Sahara, the Gobi, the Australian outback, and the deserts of the US are but a few examples of the devastation that resulted. These subcities were created as refuges for the people and as safe havens for sacred records, teachings, and technologies that were cherished by these ancient cultures. Capital cities. And I apologize right now if I do not pronounce one of these correctly, or more than one of these. Posid, primary Atlantean outpost located beneath the Mato Grosso Plains region of Brazil. Population 1.3 million. Shanxi, refuge of the Uyghur culture, a branch of the Lemurians who chose to form their own colonies 50,000 years ago. Entrance is guarded by a Himalayan lamasery. Population 750,000. Rama, remnant of the surface city of Rama, India, located near Jaipur. Inhabitants are known for their classic Hindu features. Population 1 million. Xinhua, remnant of the northern migration of the Uyghurs, located on the border of Mongolia and China. Population 750,000. Telos, primary Lemurian outpost located within Mount Shasta with a small secondary city in Mount Lawson, California, USA. Telos translated means communication with spirit. Population 1.5 million. Spotlight on Telos. How can over 1 million people make their home inside Mount Shasta? While we're stretching our imaginations, our neighbors, the Japanese, have already blueprinted underground cities in answer to their surface area problem. Sub-city habitation has, for thousands of years, been a natural vehicle for human evolution. Now, here is a peek at a well thought out ecosystem. The dimensions of this domed city are approximately 1.5 miles wide by 2 miles deep. Telos is comprised of 5 levels. Level 1. This top level is the center of commerce, education, and administration. The pyramid shaped temple is the central structure and has a capacity of 50,000. Surrounding it are government buildings, the equivalent of a courthouse that promotes an enlightened judicial system, halls of records, arts and entertainment facilities, a hotel for visiting foreign emissaries, a palace which houses the Ra and Rana Mu, the reigning king and queen of the royal Lemurian lineage. a communications tower, a spaceport, schools, food, and clothing dispatches, and most residences. Level 2, a manufacturing center as well as a residential level. Homes are circular in shape and dust free because of it. Like surface living, housing for singles, couples, and extended families is the norm. Level 3, hydroponic gardens. Highly advanced hydroponic technology feeds the entire city, with some spare for intercity commerce. All crops yield larger and tastier fruits, veggies, and soy products that make for a varied and fun diet for Telosians. Now completely vegetarian, the Agartha cities have taken meat substitutes to new heights. Level 4, more hydroponic gardens, more manufacturing, and some natural park areas. Level 5, the nature level. Set about a mile beneath surface ground level, this area is a large natural environment. It serves as a habitat for a wide variety of animals, including those many extinct on the surface. All species have been bred in a nonviolent atmosphere, and those that might be carnivorous on the surface now enjoy soy steaks and human interaction. Here you can romp with a saber-toothed tiger with wild abandon. Together with the other plant levels, enough oxygen is produced to sustain the biosphere. Language. While dialects vary from city to city, Solara Maru, translated as the solar language, is commonly spoken. This is the root language for our secret languages, such as Sanskrit and Hebrew. Government. A council of 12, 6 men and 6 women, together with the Ra and Rana Mu, do collective problem solving and serve as guides and guardians of the people. Positions of royalty, such as are held by the Ra and Rana Mu, are regarded as ones of responsibility in upholding God's divine plan. The high priest, an ascended master named Adama, is also an official representative. Computers. The Agarthian computer system is amino acid based and serves a vast array of functions. All the subcities are linked by this highly spiritualized information network. The system monitors intercity and galactic communication while simultaneously serving the needs of the individual at home. It can, for instance, report your body's vitamin or mineral deficiencies, or, when necessary, convey pertinent information from the Akashic records for personal growth. Money, non existent. All inhabitants' basic needs are taken care of. Luxuries are exchanged via a sophisticated barter system. Transportation. Moving sidewalks, interlevel elevators, and electromagnetic sleds resembling our snowmobiles within the city. For travel between cities, residents take the tube, an electromagnetic subway system capable of speeds of up to 3,000 miles per hour. Yes, Agarthians are well versed in intergalactic etiquette and are members of the Confederation of Planets. Space travel has been perfected, as has the ability for interdimensional shifts that render these ships undetectable. Entertainment. Theater, concerts, and a wide variety of the arts. Also, for you Trekkies, the holodecks. Program your favorite movie or chapter in Earth's history and become part of it. Childbirth. A painless 3 months, not 9. A very sacred process whereby, upon conception, a woman will go to the temple for 3 days, immediately welcoming the child with beautiful music, thoughts, and imagery. Water birthing in the company of both parents is standard. Height. Due to cultural differences, average heights of subterranean citizens vary. Generally 6 foot 5 inches to 7 foot 5 inches in Telos, while nearly 12 feet in Shambhala the Lesser. Age. Unlimited. Death by degeneration is simply not a reality in Telos. Most Agarthians choose to look and age between 30 to 40 and stay there, while technically they may be thousands of years old. By not believing in death, this society is not limited by it. Upon completing a desired experience, one can disincarnate at will. Ascension. Absolutely, and much easier and more common than on the surface. Ascension is the ultimate goal of temple training. Why have they stayed underground all this time? In part, because the Agarthians have learned the futility of war and violence and are patiently waiting for us to draw the same conclusion. They are such gentle folk that even our judgmental thoughts are physically harmful to them. Secrecy has been their protection. Until now, the truth of their existence has been veiled by spirit. When can we visit? Our entrance to the subcities depends on the purity of our intentions and our capacity to think positively. A warm welcome from both worlds is the ideal and must be expressed by more than just the lightworking community. Currently, a few hundred brave subterraneans are working on the surface. In order to blend with the masses, they have undergone temporary cellular change so that physically they don't tower above the rest of us. They may be recognized by their gentle, sensitive nature and somewhat mysterious accent. We wish to introduce you to Princess Sharolia Aurora Dew, the daughter of the Ra and Rana Mu of Telos. Sharolia has been officially appointed ambassador to the surface world by the Agartha network. She was born in 1725 and looks 30. This article is courtesy of her firsthand experience. Printed with the permission of World Ascension Network, Telos Press, copyright 1993. The Smoky God. A reprint of the 1908 classic by Willis George Emerson, this wonderful book tells how a Norse father and son sailed into the inner earth and spent 2 years there. The book describes the people, their religion, and their son. The Smoky God is the real life account of a Norwegian sailor named Olaf Janssen. His story, set in the 1800s, is told in Willis Emerson's biography entitled The Smoky God. Olaf's little sloop drifted so far north by storm that he actually sailed into a polar entrance and lived for 2 years with one of the colonies of the Agartha network called Shambhala the Lesser. He describes his hosts as those of the central seat of government for the inner continent, measuring a full 12 feet in height, extending courtesies and showing kindness, laughing heartily when they had to improvise chairs for my father and I to sit in. And that was a quote. Olaf tells of a smoky inner sun, a world comprised of three-fourths land and one-fourth water. Admiral Richard E. Byrd's flight into the hollow earth. Admiral Byrd said in February 1947, before his North Pole flight, "I'd like to see that land beyond the pole. That area beyond the pole is the center of the great unknown." On February 19th, 1947, Admiral Richard E. Byrd left base camp in the Arctic and flew northward. What happened on that flight? During his Arctic flight of 1,700 miles beyond the North Pole, he reported by radio that he saw below him not ice and snow, but land areas consisting of mountains, forests, green vegetation, lakes and rivers, and in underbrush saw a strange animal resembling the mammoth. For years, rumors have persisted that on his historic flight to the North Pole, Admiral Byrd flew beyond the pole into an opening leading inside the Earth. Here, he met with advanced beings who had a sobering message for him to deliver to mankind on the surface world. Upon Bird's return to Washington on March 11th, 1947, he was interviewed intently by top security forces and a medical team. Our government branded him as a lunatic and kept him drugged and locked in an asylum in the interest of national security. Here, from Admiral Byrd's secret log and diary, is the message meant to have been heard 64 years ago. Excerpt from A Flight to the Land Beyond the North Pole. I bid you welcome to our domain, Admiral. I see a man with delicate features and with the etching of years upon his face. He's seated at a long table. He motions me to sit down in one of the chairs. After I'm seated, he places his fingertips together and smiles. He speaks softly again and conveys the following. We have let you enter here because you are of noble character and well known on the surface world, Admiral. Surface world? I half gasp under my breath. Yes, the master replies with a smile. You are in the domain of the Ariani, the inner world of the earth. We shall not long delay your mission, and you will be safely escorted back to the surface and for a distance beyond. But now, Admiral, I shall tell you why you have been summoned here. Our interest rightly begins just after your race exploded the first atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. It was at that alarming time we sent our flying machines, the Flugelrads, to your surface world to investigate what your race had done. That is, of course, past history now, my dear Admiral, but I must continue on. You see, we have never interfered before in your race's wars and barbarity, but now we must. For you have learned to tamper with a certain power that is not for man, namely that of atomic energy. Our emissaries have already delivered messages to the powers of your world, and yet they do not heed. Now you have been chosen to be witness here that our world does exist. You see, our culture and science is many thousands of years beyond your race, Admiral. I interrupted, but what does this have to do with me, sir? The master's eyes seemed to penetrate deeply into my mind, and after studying me for a few moments, he replied, your race has now reached the point of no return. For there are those among you who would destroy your very world rather than relinquish their power as they know it. I nodded, and the master continued. In 1945 and afterward, we tried to contact your race, but our efforts were met with hostility. Our Flugelrads were fired upon. Yes, even pursued with malice and animosity by your fighter planes. So now I say to you, my son, there is a great storm gathering in your world, a black fury that will not spend itself for many years. There will be no answer in your armies. There will be no safety in your science. It may rage on until every flower of your culture is trampled and all human things are leveled in vast chaos. Your recent war was only a prelude of what is yet to come for your race. We here see it more clearly with each hour. Do you say I am mistaken? No, I answered. It happened once before when the Dark Ages came, and they lasted for more than 500 years. Yes, my son, replied the master. The dark ages that will come now for your race will cover the earth like a pall. But I believe that some of your race will live through the storm. Beyond that, I cannot say. We see at a great distance a new world stirring from the ruins of your race, seeking its lost and legendary treasures. And they will be here, my son, safe in our keeping. When that time arrives, we shall come forward again to help revive your culture and your race. Perhaps by then, you will have learned the futility of war and its strife. And after that time, certain of your culture and science will be returned for your race to begin anew. You, my son, are to return to the surface world with this message. With those closing words, our meeting seemed at an end. I stood for a moment as if in a dream, but yet I knew this was reality, and for some strange reason, I bowed slightly, either out of respect or humility. I do not know which. Suddenly, I was again aware of the two beautiful hosts who had brought me here were again at my side. This way, Admiral, motioned one. I turned once more before leaving and looking back toward the master. A gentle smile was etched on his delicate, ancient face. Farewell, my son, he spoke. Then he gestured with a lovely, slender hand, a motion of peace, and our meeting was truly ended. Quickly, we walked back through the great door of the master's chamber and once again entered into the elevator. The door slid silently downward, and we were at once going upward. One of my hosts spoke again. We must now make haste, Admiral, as the master desires to delay you no longer on your scheduled timetable, and you must return with his message to your race. Excerpt from A Flight to the Land Beyond the North Pole, The Missing Diary of Admiral Richard E. Byrd. Admiral Byrd's lost secret diary that details his flight to beyond the poles into an actual opening that leads inside the earth, where he met masterful beings who kept track of our civilization. Other books by Dianne Robbins. Telos, first transmissions ever received from the subterranean city beneath Mount Shasta, the new expanded edition. Dianne Robbins wrote the first Telos book ever published in 1992. It opened the way for people worldwide to make their own connection to Adama and the city of Telos. The messages in her books were dictated by Adama word for word and never edited. Each sentence carries the pure flow of energy from Adama that connects you to Telos through Adama's own vibration. Explore the rich family life of the people from the lost continent of Lemuria who have been living in Telos, a subterranean city beneath Mount Shasta in California, USA, for the past 12,000 years, and who, due to their isolation from the surface population, have experienced great leaps in consciousness, resulting in the creation of a civilization of peace and abundance, with no sickness, aging, or death. They can live hundreds of years in the same body. This book contains telepathically received messages dictated by Adama, the high priest of Telos. It is a masterpiece of channeled information about life inside our earth. The information is in the form of spiritual messages that tell you about the culture and lifestyle of its inhabitants, our purpose for being here on earth, and universal laws. The Lemurians went underground before a thermonuclear war destroyed the Earth's surface. They are contacting us now to make their existence known. For in order for Earth and humanity to ascend in consciousness, the whole planet must be united. This book is written to surface humans in hopes we will receive them when they emerge from their homes beneath the ground and unite with us as one humanity. Quote from Shirley MacLaine: I have read Telos and found it most fascinating. Quote from Princeton Winton, a Telosian contactee: this is the book humanity has been waiting for. Every person who reads this book will assist in raising the vibration of mass consciousness. And here's a quote from David K. Miller, lecturer and author of Teachings from the Sacred Triangle. Dianne Robbins is deeply connected to the healing light and energy from the inner earth. Her knowledge and sensitivity to Telos is helping to reactivate new teachings for our planet. I highly recommend this book to all who wish to connect to this powerful inner earth energy. The final quote on this book is from Branton, a Hollow Earth researcher. The profound truth and purity of these transmissions, eloquently describing life in Telos, comes from those who would know the most about it, those who actually live there. Next book. The Call Goes Out from the Cetacean Nation. Interspecies Communication with Whales, Porpoises, and Dolphins. A series of messages channeled from the cetacean species, whales, porpoises, and dolphins. Graphically spells out why they are here on Earth, how they work with the Confederation of Planets, and how we interfere with their mission. Readers will have their eyes open to the rich family and cultural life of other intelligent species on this planet. Contains messages from Kiko, star of the Free Willy movies. Dianne has been a telepathic channel for the cetaceans in previous incarnations and channels the one group mind of the cetaceans. Since early on, she has been connected to the cetaceans and was an active member of Greenpeace in the 70s. At that time, however, she didn't realize that she could hear them speaking to her. In a personal message to Dianne, they expressed the following, and I quote, "We are the cetaceans, awake also at this early earth hour, floating along with the currents and sending our love to all on earth in their sleep state. We breathe the clean air as it comes in off the shore, where humanity hasn't yet polluted it with exhaust fumes from their automobiles and factories. These early hours are the sweetest and the cleanest time to breathe deeply, for the vigor of God deeply permeates the air at these early hours. Keep your heart space open to our transmissions, for although our species differ in form, in consciousness, we are one. We are here in full consciousness, waiting patiently for Earth's children to bloom into the caretakers you were meant to be. Your DNA was tampered with by past civilizations and by renegades from outer space. This has slowed down your evolution to the point where up to now you were barely crawling. With the huge input of energy being directed to your Earth within the last few years, your evolution is again picking up speed, and you will soon blast off into full consciousness and will at last be with us in the higher dimensions. This work of attunement is also a call for help. Help required for the waste that is dumped into the oceans, for the melting of the polar caps due to the air pollution and destruction of the rainforest, and for our need to listen to the earth and hear her messages. Indeed, the reader will find the insightful words of Kiko, star of the Free Willy movies, Corky, an orca whale incarnated in SeaWorld, San Diego, California, and Lolita, an orca whale imprisoned in the Sea Aquarium in Miami, Florida, among others. Here's a quote from Richard Fuller, Metaphysical Reviews. Dianne Robbins has brought us a masterpiece of compassion that should be required reading for all who care about our planet and our future. The next book is Tree Talk. Tree stands for taking responsibility for the earth and environment. TREE. We are all one. A note from the author to hug a tree. Just as the cetaceans are Earth's record keepers living in the oceans, do you know that the trees are the record keepers living on land? The trees comprise a vast underground communication network system that transmits information so that all trees everywhere on Earth know instantly all that occurs. They are living libraries embodied in bark that we as humans can easily tap into. Note the term taproot. We can tap into their vast library. Their line is always open to us, so tap into it. They are eagerly awaiting our call. They are waiting for us to acknowledge them as tree people. For uncensored worldwide news and answer to any question, hug a tree. It not only saves paper, but their lives as well. Another book is Messages from the Crystal Kingdom with poems from the elementals. We are the crystal people, And we too have a tale to tell. It is time for you to know of the lifestyles we live deep within the earth's crust and how we can be partners with you. Our depth is the cause for our clarity and brilliance of light, for we capture the heartbeat of Mother Earth, and it pulses within our encasement of pure crystal. We are encased in crystal bodies, waiting deep underground for you to make connection to our souls. Yes, we do have souls, as all elements are alive, awake, and conscious of the world around them, all vibrating at various degrees of alertness. We carry records of events and history of the earth in our crystalline matrix. We came to boost your vibrations through our crystalline web of interconnectiveness with all that is. For we can connect to you to whomever you want to be connected to. We are a great connective force residing under your surface, ready to emerge at any time to show you our power and strength and how we emit the life force through all who connect with us. We came to help you peel away the layers of dross that have surrounded your bodies and minds and feelings so that you can see clearly through the illusion you reside in, so that you can get out of the matrix of mass consciousness. We vibrate at the highest level of vibration, much higher than most humans have attained. When you wear us around your necks or hold us in your hands, your electrons then start to raise their vibration to match ours, and you are given a vibrational lift, moving you closer to the vibration of unconditional love. About the author, Dianne Robbins. As a child, I used to stand outside and look up at the night sky and wonder where in the starry heavens above was my home. In 1990, when I was listening to the music of the Moody Blues and I heard their song, I Know You're Out There Somewhere, it suddenly flooded me with memories. I instantly knew there was a whole other world out there just waiting to communicate with me. I began a process of meditation that reawakened me to the remembrance that I am a telepathic receiver and transmitter for the inner earth terrestrials, cetaceans, and nature kingdom. I also awakened to my divine mission and role for this lifetime. I tapped into the cosmos and connected to the cetaceans, whales, and dolphins. Adama in the subterranean city of Telos, Mikos in the hollow earth, the ascended masters, the confederation of planets, nature spirits, and trees. I no longer felt alone, but suddenly connected to beings everywhere through the telepathic phone lines that exist throughout the cosmos. My communication with Mikos has reconnected me to who I am and why I'm here. And I discovered that I am connected to all life everywhere, not just on Earth, but all life throughout our Milky Way galaxy. With this new sense of purpose, I have dedicated my life to receiving, transcribing, and publishing my telepathic transmissions from beings residing in higher realms of consciousness. My goal is to spread these messages around the globe in hopes of awakening surface humans to the existence of those who inhabit the hollow earth and subterranean realms through the publication of my books. The earliest messages came from the cetaceans and were published in my first book, The Call Goes Out from the Cetacean Nation. My second book, and prerequisite to this book, is Telos, Original Transmissions from the Subterranean City Beneath Mount Shasta. My fourth book is Tree Talk, and my fifth book is Messages from the Crystal Kingdom. Much of my inspiration comes from communing with nature through long walks in the woods, sitting under my favorite tree in my backyard, and spending time on the mountain of Mount Shasta. I now live in Mount Shasta because it has long been my heart's desire to return home. I, Dianne Robbins, am a student of the Ascended Master teachings through the greatest university of life, the I Am University of the Radiant Rose Academy. The Radiant Rose Academy is the earthly instrument for this new dispensation through which the continuation of progressive revelation can reach the people of Earth. This is the dispensation bringing the divine feminine back to Earth through Mother Akasha's rose pink rays and the flames of divine love, will, and grace from the heart of the great central sun. These are the same ascended master teachings that were taught to Jesus that prepared him for his resurrection and ascension. Recommended reading for those on the ascension path: Saint Germain's books by Godfrey Ray King, The Magic Presence and Unveiled Mysteries, Saint Germain Press, 800-662-2800. The Radiant Rose Academy is located at 4388 West 10th Avenue, Vancouver, British Columbia, and can be reached toll-free at 855-772-0985 or online at www.radiantroseacademy.com. And that's it. We made it to the back cover. I promised cover to cover. There's nothing on there. We're done. So it has been truly my pleasure to bring this book to you in audio form, and I hope you have enjoyed and expanded from this journey with me. I sure have. And please remember, visit Dianne Robbins at diannerobbins.com and check out her other works there. And please continue to send love and light and healing energies to her as she remains in the hospital at this time. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. And please strike up a conversation in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to know more about what I do, which is all kinds of fun stuff, you can join me on a journey of possibilities. I'm Cheryl Sitz, and journeyofpossibilities.com is the website where you'll find my podcast with almost 300 episodes of timeless wisdom and interviews. I hope you'll join me there, and I would welcome the opportunity to connect with you in a private session as well for a little more on who you are, why you're here, and what it is you really want, and how I can help you figure that out. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.